Am I the asshole for telling my ex he doesn't get to do enjoyable things with our son? Me and my ex-husband split up 6 years ago, when our son was 7, but he still lives very close and we spend a lot of time together. Our son, Ba, is autistic, and he has a lot of special interests. He talks so fast you can't understand what he's saying and he'll tell you the same facts 500 times, but I love him and I love that he wants to talk to me so much. His father is less tolerant. After 10 minutes or so he'll go, "All right kid, that's enough," and continue to cut our son off whenever he tries to talk. I've tried talking to him about it, and he said that he wouldn't mind if Ba spoke about new things, but there's only so many times he can listen to the same facts, and it gives him a headache after a while. I let it slide, and I explained to my son that his father is less tolerant. 2 weeks ago I got my son a dog as dogs are one of his special interests and I think he needs a companion through this pandemic. I'm in a better financial situation, and Ba definitely knows what he's doing. I called a local shelter, we looked for a dog who would fit us best, and now we have a new member of the family. We went distance dog shopping, and my ex eventually found out about a week ago. He got upset that I'd do something that meant so much to our son and not invite him along. I told him once he sat and engaged with our son for more than half an hour regarding his special interests, he could start coming with us when we do family things. He got huffy about it, saying that, "It's not like that," but I was done with the conversation and hung up on him. I went to bed not thinking much of it. I woke up to literal hundreds of missed calls and texts from family members. My ex had plastered it all over Facebook. Most of the replies consisted of people calling me selfish, but a few, particularly one from my mother, hit hard. She, specifically, said that the reason Ba doesn't get along with his father is because I exclude him from things. She seems to think my ex isn't gonna want to put in the hard work if he isn't going to get the fun stuff as well. I said he should do the hard work either way because he's a father and that's his job. Overall the backlash has been pretty bad. Ba knows what's going on and has chosen to ignore it in favor of hanging out with his new best friend. So Reddit, am I the asshole?
Not the asshole, you've been split up for 6 years. He's not entitled to tag along on family things that ultimately will only affect your household. Hope you hit back with the facts and that plastering Facebook for sympathy is manipulative. He doesn't try to be there. Why should he be included when he's a part-time parent and the dog would live with you?
Not the asshole. This dude sounds so entitled. WTF. Getting a dog was a special thing for you and your son. The dog will be living in your house, so he shouldn't feel entitled to be brought along for that kind of purchase. He just wants brownie points with Bass and his Facebook friends, and to take credit for something that is entirely your responsibility in the long run. It's selfish, and putting the whole discourse online for family and friends to see was backhanded and frankly quite childish. I hope that you, your son and his new friend are safe and having fun together. Happy holidays.
Everyone sucks here. He should try to be more tolerant, but it's a good thing for your son to learn that most people don't want to listen to anyone go on and on about the same thing. I really take issue with you unilaterally deciding that his dad can't do fun stuff unless he does things exactly as you do. There's a lot of different ways to parent without being abusive, and from your description of his actions it doesn't sound like he is. Posting on Facebook was an asshole move 100% though, which is why I didn't vote YTA.
Maybe if he put in the same effort with his son as he does bitching about you on Facebook, then maybe he could have gone with you. But he didn't, so not the asshole, and I'm glad your son has a four-pawed pal. Dogs are wonderful friends.
I told him once he sat and engaged with our son for more than half an hour regarding his special interests, he could start coming with us when we do family things. That's a pretty manipulative line right there. You shouldn't be attempting to dictate how your ex parents your child. People are allowed to express limits when kids become excessively annoying, and honestly it's not the worst thing for your son to learn to stop when someone has clearly asked them to. Everyone sucks here a tad. Mostly him. He was so wrong for going to Facebook. And you are not required to invite him on family outings. Y'all aren't a family. He can do his own with his son. The only reason I think you might be staying a bit into asshole territory is because of your requirement to listen for 30 minutes. I just think that parents do things differently. They have to find their way together. You trying to force things and set time limits won't help. Don't set conditions on inviting him to outings. Either do or don't, then move on.
You are the asshole. First, for excluding your child's father for such a big decision. Second, and a bigger you are the asshole, for indulging your child's perseveration. It is inappropriate for a young man to engage in such behavior. He needs to be taught how to engage with the world, not drone monotonously about his preferred subjects. He will need to live in the Word one day, and it does not appear have an intellectual disability that will prevent him from being self-sufficient. You are choosing to disable him by neglecting his social-emotional development. Frankly, I'm surprised his IEP 504 team hasn't suggested intervention. What are you getting for yourself out of keeping your son so tied to you? He doesn't even care about his father, and has no friends but you?
You are the asshole. Not everyone is able being talked at a mile a minute. By the sounds of it, he's trying to be polite about dismissing your son. I don't blame him either. The big thing here is that you live with your son, he doesn't. So you're used to the repetitive questions being blasted at you day in day out. Cut him some slack, it's hard for him as well, not just you and your boy.
I would have said NTA if you were splitting custody, because then he could do fun stuff on his time, but since you have to be present, I think your mum hit the nail on the head. It seems like you're punishing him for not parenting exactly how you think he should, and your son's indifference could definitely be down to that. You need to work on your co-parenting a lot.
Not the asshole. Is your ex going to live with the dog? Since I assume the answer is no, it has nothing to do with him. It would be one thing if he had some legitimate concern about the dog, but he clearly doesn't. He just wants Ba to give him credit for you getting Ba a dog. That is your and your son's dog, not the ex's.
I feel like there's more to the story here if your own mother is saying the reasons Bas doesn't get along is because you exclude him from things. I'm not trying to jump to conclusions here, but from the way you're wording things, you've painted the story to seem like his father is this intolerant asshole who doesn't actually enjoy time with his kid at all, which makes no sense because why would he still be willing to spend time with Bas then? Him posting everything on Facebook is a low move, but I really think there's more to the story here. The father for not being as patient with his son as he could be, you for leaving him out of important parts of your son's life that could help build a better bond between them.
Maybe he could be a little more patient, and posting the whole deal on Facebook is pretty immature. That said, based on what the way you said you told your son his father is less tolerant, the fact that your son knows what's going on, someone had to tell him all about it, and the way you seem to be trying to control how your ex-parents and when he gets to do fun stuff with your son, I'm going to say you're more towards the asshole end here. Those first two items in particular give me the impression that you might be saying uncomplimentary things about your ex around your son. I can tell you that from the perspective of the child in that situation, it's a shitty thing to do. You are the asshole. This is parental alienation. You're a family, regardless of whether it's fun or not fun. All co-parenting decisions should be made by both parents. You making a unilateral decision for a 10-plus year commitment for your son wasn't fair to do without consulting his father. I get it. Irresponsible exes are the pits sometimes, but he's just as much a dad as you are a mom, and your son will always need you both. Include him. If he doesn't participate, that's on him, but you should include him.
Not the asshole. Sorry. But the dog lives with you in your household. That means it's a household experience, and dad doesn't really have to be there to pick out a dog he won't even live with. NTA, my problem is not your buying the dog. You are perfectly in your rights to do that without other input. You know most people would have limited tolerance for the constant repeats. Your son needs to live in the world and you need to work with him on communication. Find speech therapy for your kid specific for autism. Makes a huge difference rather than just catering to him because he has autism. Stop marginalizing your son. It's not helping him.
Not the asshole. Didn't he know that dogs are good for autistic people? Didn't he know that his son is interested in dogs? Why didn't he offer to get him one? Why don't you reply in Facebook the same what you said here? That will keep his mouth shut. I imagine a lot is being left out of this. You are the asshole, a manipulative one at that. Intentional I don't know, but manipulative definitely. Again, YTA.
You are the asshole. No way we're getting the entire story here, or people would have supported you instead of unilaterally attacking you. You're withholding information and I have no doubt you're the asshole here. Especially considering you only engage with the posts that agree with you. Anyone that suggests that you're not the asshole you've connected with. Anyone that disagrees? Ignored. I'd bet money that's a common theme in your life.
I was going to say no assholes here, but the way you both handled the disagreement absolutely sucked.
YTA. You are the asshole.
NTA. You shouldn't have to put effort into him bonding with his own son. That's not your responsibility. Your ex chooses not to. Listen to your son and sees him as a burden, and little children feel that. That's on him. Everybody blaming you is enabling your ex, and it doesn't do any favors to your son. You household in, not his. What you do in your house with your son is not his business. His entitlement is frown-worthy.
You are the asshole for throwing dirt at your husband by calling him less tolerant to your son. You are not the asshole for buying a dog.
Not the asshole, I agree with you. Also, as was said earlier, your relationship was over 6 years ago. He is no longer entitled to what you do in your household. If you want to exclude him, then okay, that's your choice. If you want to tell him to become more understanding of your son's condition before you'll entertain the thought of him becoming involved, that's a you choice as well. By no means riling up your family and friends is the best interest of child. Your family thinking they get to voice such disrespect is boggling. You could tell them to kick rocks at this point and you'd still be right. What happens in your house isn't anyone else's business. And the thought the ex got a say in that, few entitled much?
Everyone sucks here. You are driving a wedge between the father and your son by saying things like, he is just less tolerant, and I'd wager you know you're doing it. At the same time, the father is throwing a tantrum and not acting like an adult as he should. So yeah, yes, it would be ideal if your ex was more tolerant, as you put it, but that doesn't justify excluding him from significant things in your son's life. Every parent is different. Ultimately, the person missing out is from time spent with his father. That time may not be exactly what you would like it to look like, but you also don't get to define your son's relationship with his dad. IMHO.
Everyone sucks here. Except Bass. Bass needs both his parents. You should be including him and helping them bond so he can be more tolerant and find ways to enjoy his time with his son. I'm an Aspie, so I know how we can fixate on things and it can drive others nuts. But when you have a bond, it drives them less nuts because they have that love to fall back on to help them have patience. You shouldn't deliberately cut him out because you're angry. You should try to solve the problem and communicate instead of hurt each other, and also Bass in the crossfire.
You, your ex, your mom and all the friends won't bother further explaining since OP is only seeking validation for her actions. Only responding to the NTA's judgment, so why bother if she won't even reflect on what the rest is pointing out? I'm ready for the downvotes. Woman shrugging, light skin tone. Everyone sucks here. Yes, he should be more tolerant towards your son. I have ADHD and do exactly the same thing, and my dad also shuts me down. However, my dad is great at other things and my parents have been divorced since I was 10. We do most things as a family and I've never been more grateful that they both make an effort at normality. The only person who suffers by your actions is your son.
At least dad wants to be involved with his son. Sure, there are things that need work. Maybe talk to your son about asking his dad to come and meet the dog. You're both still your son's family, even if you two aren't. Peace.
I dunno, I'm bordering both. I'm autistic and I info dump and I can get wrapped up in things and it makes me feel good when someone listens to me. But also I work with multiple autistic children and sometimes it does get tiring hearing the same thing on repeat, and that comes from someone who does it and is autistic. I even find myself annoying sometimes. So I mean, not the asshole for not inviting him, but you should be more understanding that not everyone can handle it. Not the asshole. It's nice that you get along with your wax to co-parent so closely, but it's been 6 years. He stopped doing fun family things when he stopped being part of your family. He's an adult, he can arrange his own fun family time experiences. You are the asshole. I know people think, well, I feel justified, is reason to act like you are doing, but you are projecting your issues with your ex onto your child. I worked so many child custody cases and what you are doing is harmful to your kid. This is not about you. This is only about your kid, and yes, excluding your ex so he will have a less meaningful bond with your kid because you feel like he is not acting like you want him to is selfish and bad for your kid. Info. Why do you think everyone on Facebook, texts, phone calls, etc. said you are the asshole and everyone here says not the asshole? If you received literal hundreds of messages from people who know the whole situation, including your own mom, it kinda feels like you've left something out.
You are the asshole. Get the fuck over yourself. This is for your kid, grow up.
Not the asshole. You aren't the asshole in this situation at all in my opinion. I can reason with a lot of what you are saying. Also your ex sounds ridiculously immature and if my ex was like that I know I wouldn't want her around my child. However, the only thing I will say is maybe you should establish some time of compromise with your ex, something along the lines of, you will respect and show love and care for your own son, and if you do this then you can also join on the special things in life. The only reason I think this is worth a try is simply for your son's sake. Regardless, best of luck.
I'm gonna say you are the asshole on this one, op. You consistently say, my son, and are being extremely controlling about how he interacts with your child. Every kid needs to know boundaries. It seems as though you share experiences together rather often and doing sometimes so meaningful separate just so you can have the last word is super manipulative and plain wrong.
ETA, but mostly you. I don't think you get to decide whether or not your husband can do enjoyable family things with your son because the boy is both of y'all's son. I personally don't think it's that serious if he can't tolerate y'all's son saying the same things, especially if it gives him headaches. I don't think that's fair at all to the dad. But he is in the wrong for bringing this situation to Facebook. You are the asshole for forcing your ex to adjust to your son's disability. Of course your son has special needs, but his needs aren't to dictate other people. And not the asshole for the dog shelter, it's something between you and your son in your household. But more you are the asshole than not the asshole. It's not about the dog story. If it was only that, it'd be not the asshole. But all the rest, your overbearing attitude, the way you purposely exclude the father, and also, sorry for being so blunt, you're simply indulging in your son's behavioral issues and trying to frame them as simply special interests, makes you are the asshole. Your ex, on the other hand, is the asshole for making all this public. No doubt about that. Oh, and about this. Ba knows what's going on. How does he know? Because if you're the one who told him the whole sad story, that's one more big strike for you're the asshole.
I feel like something is being left out here. Why did your family turn on you so quickly? Why did your ex get upset when he clearly wants to continue interaction? I think this might be everyone sucks here, him for his harsh treatment and you for not talking with him on how you feel about his methods.
Info. It honestly depends on what your son wants. If your son wants his father to also be there, you should invite his dad, otherwise that would just be selfish on your part. If he says he doesn't care, I'd honestly still take the father as well for a couple of times and then ask your son again which he prefers, with the father or without. If he says he doesn't want his father to be there, don't invite him.
Not the asshole. I think you would only be an asshole if your son wanted him there. You are the asshole. He's still the father, isn't he? My deepest apology if this upsets you, but you do not get to exclude him unless a court of law said so. And you also do not get to cherry-pick the fun stuff so that you can exclude him from it. I said he should do the hard work either way because he's a father and that's his job. You even said it, because he's a father and that's his job. But the fun stuff is also part of being a father. Posting on Facebook about it definitely was not okay of him. However, you're limiting contact between your son and your ex because he isn't able to process the fast and repetitive talking of your son. That just sounds like ableism to me. Have you considered that your ex might be neurodivergent as well?
Everyone sucks here except your son. Dad for not taking enough time to listen to his child's interests, and expecting to be involved in decisions made in your household. But you also for telling your child his father isn't tolerant of him and letting him know what's going on in this situation. It's your job to protect your child from the animosity between you and your ex, and playing up the good parent or victim role is alienating his father further.
The son is the coolest one.